similar mood around this room tonight about PSPOs, and I want to express a sympathy for Mike Coburn, who is a bit of an outsider here. As I understand it, this idea of PSPOs emanated from the Labour cabinet, and it's a Labour proposal, and yet none of the Labour councillors seem to have come to the defence of their own policy, which seems strange. And I think Mike Coburn has been struggling to defend some of the proposals that are before us tonight. We do have an issue with dog fouling, and there's no doubt about that. As councillors, we all know that we get countless complaints about fouling on pavements in our various wards. There's a list in one of the appendices to the report, page after page, showing where there have been complaints about dog fouling over the past year. But almost without exception, they were in residential roads and not in And there's no point in repeating points that have already been made, but these proposals that we have tonight are not going to do anything to address that problem. Kingdom already do have the powers to deal with it, and they're singularly ineffective. Following on from Councillor Blakeley's comments about the statistics, last year, the calendar year, Kingdom issued 113 fixed penalty notices. That's the whole of Wirral for the whole of the year. I was looking back 6 years to when Wirral actually had their own dog wardens and policed us themselves. And in 2012, Wirral managed to issue 258. So we're bringing in Kingdom to do a job half as well as we used to do it ourselves. And we already know from this committee, when we've discussed the issue of fixed penalty notices issued by Kingdom previously, that there is huge concern about the way that Kingdom operatives go about their task. We have had very worrying complaints about the way they have victimised people and hounded them, pursuing these at the end. And as people in the audience say, they're bullying. And I'm concerned that one of the proposals here is about the issuing of penalty notices for dogs that are out of control. It says, enforcement officers will request that a dog observed acting aggressively or causing a nuisance be put on a lead immediately if the operative considers it is detrimental to the effect of the quality of life. Now, do we trust these Kingdom operatives to the quality of life? I am really worried about this, and you know, I feel that this is not what the people of Wirral want. We do want action on dog fouling. Yeah. We do want on pavements cleaning. We don't want these PSPOs.
Thank you both for your presentations. With a sort of both here now, Rob, you made a statement during your presentation that the dog trusts and RSPCA were opposed to the PSPO. And my question is to you, Mike. You said in your presentation that there were some campaign groups that the campaign groups that have been established in response to the proposals, that you want to work with those groups to improve dog owner experience. Can I just ask what engagements the council have had with the groups, with the dog trusts and with the RSPCA, you know, in the formulation of the plans?
Okay, Mike, that was the third in the group. If you're happy to answer those questions.
Okay, in terms of Councillor Gray's position, the Murray poll we talk about in terms of the council's resident survey was delivered in 15 and 17. is a the population response to the survey, and they made it clear that their priorities in terms of their local area, etc. In terms of the 9,000 people that responded to the online survey, 73% of those that responded were dog owners, and yet they were in favour. There were positive responses to the measures that were proposed. So, despite the fact that they were dog owners, they were in acceptance of the proposal, just in terms of response. That was the case. There aren't many non-dog owners in the rooms, Cllr, and I'm a dog owner myself, but there is a population out there that are concerned, and have made those feelings clear to us, not just in terms of dog fans, but other things.
Sorry, can I clarify, do we know what the proportion is of people who own dogs?
Well,
We're lucky that we have the world's leading expert. We're lucky we have the world's leading expert on dog ownership and mental health who lives and works on the Wirral. She did a door-by-door survey. She did over 1,000 homes. 10% of those homes are dog averse. 25. There's another source which says 26% of dog owners.
Can I just ask, do we know when that research was undertaken?
Yeah, I believe Carrie's research was done the year before last. She's a resident of Easton, and she works at the Lee Head Specialty, and she talks literally all over the world of dog ownership and mental health. She's full of figures, and she offers to help.
Thank you.
Can I just clarify my question? You're saying that 26% are dog owners, 26% of rural residents are dog owners,
Yes.
and 73% of respondents to this survey are dog owners. So could it be that our results are not reflective of society as a whole on the rural, and that perhaps many aren't here? That's my question.
That is certainly a possibility. I'd like to think that the campaign that we delivered in June, July was high profile, and people knew about it, and that people were aware. But some people chose not to get involved, and may have had an opinion, but didn't come back to us. So that's correct, and that's just something we've obviously got to take on board. And by the way, we are working closely with Gerry Westgarth.
Thank you.
In terms of Councillor Brame's comments, so 113 FPNs in last year. I mentioned Barnes' figures about sort of the top end of around 350 to 320 in a year. You're correct, in-house provision at some point presumably office provision still in existence 260 FPNs. But the years after that, no FPNs issued, and yet there's an in-house workforce presence. I don't know what happened, but there were no FPNs, very few issued by the in-house team in the build-up to the start of the contract. In terms of the concerns about Kingdom, it's not been mentioned so far this evening, but this committee meets again on the 30th of January. There is really two items on the agenda. One of them is the Kingdom contract. And the managing director of Kingdom is attending, and we intend to have a full review with you on all issues to do with Kingdom and the way they operate and how we manage that contract. In terms of the concern about interpreting dog behaviour issues and what constitute genuine dog nuisance, we will, as Councillor Cox has highlighted in the report, we will be offering that training with the appropriate people. So people like Cllr Westgarth, as you mentioned before, or Rob did, and others will be vitally involved in that, and we'll look to involve them in sort of training them in equalities issues as well, because obviously there's an issue about assistance dogs and their exemptions.
Can I just chip on that? Thank you, Mike. Perhaps the reason the number of notices issued by our own staff, the reason for its decline, could it have something to do with the fact that we've made a lot of the dog wardens redundant?
They were still in post, positions, but they were made redundant, yeah, in the end. In terms of Councillor Jones' comments, yeah.
Mike, just before we move off that one, please, just a supplementary, and I don't expect an answer this evening, but given the fact that the in-house team versus outside enforcement, would it be possible to have the associated costs of that enforcement? As I say, not necessarily now, but I think that would be a useful piece of information. How much it actually cost the authority with the in-house team as opposed to the contractors. Thank you.
And as has been stated before, this is at no cost for us in terms of the Kingdom operation. So,
could it be also the input to the capital from both of HBS?
Yeah, what's going on?
So, Councillor Jones' question. Before we designed the long list of proposals of the PSPO, we discussed, we had a telephone conference call with the Kennel Club. They produced a publication about PSPOs. Contrary to Rob's view, it's not that they're against PSPOs, they're concerned about lack of consultation and that heavy-handed measures being railroaded in, and they're looking for common sense and balance in terms of that. They understand why PSPOs are needed for dog owners and non-dog owners. We also met with the RSPCA prior to the launch and took on their comments. And then, as part of the consultation process, we did a statutory consultation with people like the police and others, the police and crime commissioner's office, etc. But also with the Dogs Trust, RSPCA, Kennel Club, and others. We have responses from all those. And yet, they're concerned about the PSPOs. They understand why they're needed, and they have issues about a range of measures. Some of them they feel we aren't pressing hard enough. Most of them felt that 6 dogs per walker was excessive, and you couldn't control 6 dogs. But we've put this in. We consider this measure because professional dog walkers can get insurance for 6 dogs. So that's the reason why we put it at that level. But we've got all those responses, and they're a matter record. We can share them with you. All those groups responded to our request.
Thanks, Mike. Councillor Tony Smith.
Okay, thanks, Chair. First of all, thanks, Rob and Mike, for the contributions there, and listened very carefully to what was said in that. 2 sort of issues for me was, first of all, looking at the increase in dog attacks on individuals or people in that between 2012 and 2017, which I thought was quite excessive, really, 170. You probably agree with me. And obviously, that's evidence-based because it's come from the police, it's come from people who work in our parks and other sort of areas and that. So, that did concern me. What I was impressed with was the response to the survey, and to see that 73% of people who were dog owners actually agreed with what I would see as proportionate response, really, to sort of problems that we have at the moment, and the initiatives and the interventions that we're taking at present are actually not working. I think you could probably accept that they are not working. So, I would like to see what I would call a quite proportionate sort of response be put in place, perhaps for a period of time, and to work very closely with yourself and other owners of that. And also, I'm pleased to hear that there are dog training courses. When we do have an attack or something like that that, whether it's the council or the police or whatever, will go and meet the responsible dog owners. And I'll make this very clear. You're right, the majority, 90%, 99% are responsible dog owners, but there is a small proportion of people. I'll just illustrate it. On Sunday, I was in West Carby and I walked down along the prom there. the dog fouling on the prom was just excessive. Walk around reading it. It was just, in fact, we gave up. We came back, it was so bad, and that was with visitors. So, you know, and you probably accept that as well. So, you know, I do think we need to bring in something that will perhaps tackle those type of issues, but at the same time recognise that the vast majority of people are responsible dog owners. So thank you very much for your contributions.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. Do we have any? Councillor Kenny, Brian Kenny.
Yeah, I mean, just still on questions, because I'd like to make a few points that hopefully will bring us forward tonight. But I'm in your hands. If we're just on questions, then Xavier would like to come back in.
Yes, I will, Brian, if you don't mind. Do we have any more questions before we go to Brian's comments? Councillor Muspratt.
I'd like answers to the questions I asked before. What evidence have we that these, when these PSPO powers, I'd be careful there, because somebody's changed PSPO, which I'm sure you can imagine what it's now called amongst people I know, so I nearly said it then. What proof have we got from other areas that this has worked? Because that's what I asked at the beginning. And I've also asked you, the measures that are put in place for people whose dogs have transgressed in terms of aggression, why are we not promoting those? Why are we just fining people? I've asked you that twice, and I didn't slip it in, Chair, because it's one of the first things I asked, because all through this, there's no way, there's nothing that says we will tell people and show them where they are going wrong. Right? And I will also ask again, why are the many being penalised for the few? And why are we using, why, you can say about the playing fields, and that is a wonderful answer. I feel mean getting at you, Mike, because, you know, you believe this and you've worked hard on it, but I have to say, a lot of those playing fields have suddenly become playing fields. Aren't used. There's a lot of, sorry Mike, there's a lot of playing fields around here that suddenly got white lines. In direct contrast to the playing field by me, which is suddenly right for building houses on. Right. Why are these areas going to be singled up, just left, when people could use them? I don't understand it. Because playing football is great, but if you only use it for 90 minutes or whatever it is, once a month, the health benefits to our residents is far greater if people can walk on them. I'm lucky, I can get the bus, I can walk in Thornton Hub, and I can walk a mile still. But people who are older than me or less mobile than me have to go to local parks and local playing fields. Everybody will tell you the benefits of owning a dog. Mental health, physical health, everything. You make friends, you have, well not me, but some people have, their appearance changes because they've got a reason for getting up and going out and getting dressed. I'm just a scrub through life. But, you know, all that for one 90-minute game of football. I would argue, if we've got all these pitches that are remaining empty, why are they remaining empty and why aren't we using that land? I just don't understand this, because we have the facility, you said yourself, we have the rules on cemeteries, we have the bylaws on playing fields, and we can extend that to new playing fields, sorry, play areas. We could look at playing fields and make them reasonable so that everybody had a chance of enjoying them.
Councillor Sykes, another question.
Thank you, Chair. Just picking up on a couple of points that I don't know whether people have noticed, but Tony was just asking about the particularly dangerous dogs or aggressive dogs. You said there's already rules in place. We weren't very good at enforcing them. We already know we've already got enforcement, but we're not very good for dog fouling. I'm just not sure how PSPO adds to either of those so that it suddenly makes the Kingdom contract viable. Because that seems to be what it's about. It seems to be making the Kingdom contract viable so we can enforce things that we can already enforce. So if all of a sudden we have the ability for people to be fined for stepping over a white line on a playing field, the contract becomes viable for enforcing dog fouling and enforcing aggressive behaviour of dogs. Why don't we just get, either in-house or Kingdom, to actually enforce the dog fouling and to enforce the existing rules we've already got about aggressive dogs? Why do we need a PSPO to do things we've already got rules to do? Unless it is about making that contract viable for Kingdom to then employ people to make revenue, because they're only going to employ them if they're going to make the revenue from issuing fines. So if those fines are too hard to do for dog fouling, because they've already proved that it's too hard to do for dog fouling, and it's too hard to do for aggressive dogs, where are those fines going to come from? Is it going to be the easy wins? Is it going to be like litter, where we've still got litter on our streets in Thornton or across my road, because Kingdom are down in Birkenhead outside pubs getting people for cigarettes? It's going to be the same, isn't it? We're not going to do anything on dog fouling, we're not going to do anything on aggressive dogs, we're just going to get people on the easy wins outside playing pitches. It's about making that contract viable.
Thanks, Alan. We'll come back to that, Mike. Brian, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. The first point I wanted to make is that last year, the officers of this council were instructed to go away and have a consultation with the public and a review and come back with proposals for a PSPO. Now, it may well be that some people here might like some of the recommendations that have come back, but I think we should at least give some respect to Mike as the officer for doing exactly as he was instructed to do. That's the first point I'd want to make. Now, as I understand it, Chair, we've had a number of proposals tonight, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we're saying is that the proposals include dog fouling enforcement across the borough. Dog walkers should be made to carry bags for removing and cleaning up after their dog. A number of dog-free locations should be created. Now, I get the impression from some people that dogs are going to be banned everywhere. That's not my understanding, having read the details of the paper, but that there will be a number of dog-free locations. Now, well, the details in the report here. Now, one of the questions which a number of people are not happy with is about the recommendation that people should be restricted to have no more than 6 dogs with them. I think Mike's explained the reason for that about insurance, etc. There's a requirement for dogs to be kept on a lead in cemeteries and family picnic areas, which I think most people would agree with. And dogs should be put on a lead by direction. So we've had a major consultation across the borough. Members of the public have given their views, and I don't think we can just ignore it. We can't just say, let's pretend we haven't had a consultation, let's carry on exactly as we were before. Now, as I understand the recommendation that's coming from the officers' chair, what they're talking about now is having a 3-year period to implement their PSPO proposals. Some people have said, where's the proof, where's the evidence? Well, I think it's unfair to ask for evidence and proof before you've even introduced the proposal. We've had to
Can you give Councillor Kenny a chance to make his statement, please? Thank you. Carry on, Brian.
So what I'm saying is, I think it's a little bit unfair to ask for proof and evidence in a situation where what we're being asked to do is to bring in, I think, a trial for 3 years. What I was going to suggest here, as a sort of compromise, rather than agree a trial for 3 years, that we agree it for 12 months. 12 months on the basis...
Don't wait.
On the basis, Chair, that it's subject to review. At the end of the 12 months, we'll have a full review, bearing in mind that we don't make the final decision tonight. It's going to go to Cabinet, presumably over the next few weeks. But that we have a 12-month review. At the end of the 12 months, people can then decide what's worked, what hasn't worked, what changes, if any, need to be made. So I'm going to put that forward, Chair, as a suggestion, that we agree the proposals on a trial basis for for 12 months, and if none of it works, then fine. But I'm putting that forward as a way forward, because we can't just pretend we haven't had a consultation, because there's lots of people who've fed into the consultation, who've given views, and I think we should not be accused of ignoring all their views. So I'm going to put that forward as a suggestion, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Kenny. So that's a recommendation. Can I go back to Councillor Blakeley?
Chairman, we have questions on this.
Yeah, we just hold on a moment, please. Councillor Blakeley.
Thank you, Chair. I hear what Councillor Kenny says. It's a PSPO. He's trying to sweep it by saying, hey, let's run it for 12 months and that'll make everybody happy, and then if it needs to go away, it'll go away. Well, we know if it runs for 12 months with this council, it won't go away. It will remain in place, and Kingdom won't let it go away because they'll be making too much money from it. So, you know, while I have a formal words here that I'll move as an amendment to Councillor Kenny's recommendation. I have a formal words here, which I'll move as an amendment. And I'm happy to read that out now if people want to hear it.
Can I come back to you, Councillor Blakeley?
Okay.
With your amendment after we've had the questions that were asked, after we've had those answered, and then we can go back to the formal process then. Thank you.
The proposal is, if someone is observed, or their dog is observed to not be in control, and to be causing a nuisance, we will instruct them to put them under control forthwith. If they do not, then it's an offence, and they'll be given a fine. That's a good proposal.
Specified.
Can we go back to the fact that that's not what happens on Wirral, that people can opt to go for dog training? Now that happens.
That is overboard. That was something to do with the dog welfare officer and environmental health. That's not.
It may well be, but that's what happens. So I'm saying, is that not a sensible way forward for Wirral Council to move? Because what we want to do is stop it. You can find somebody, that's fine, we get the money, but what we actually want to do is make sure that it doesn't happen again, that they understand and that the dog's behaviour is modified on a permanent basis. By fining somebody, you're not going to make the dog behave differently, and you're certainly going to get the owner's backup. So I'm saying that is in place in Wirral. That happens to people now whose dogs cause a nuisance.
Okay.
When it's, so why
Let's
why
promote
is
that then.
well
Well,
exactly.
in terms of people who can't control the dog, there's a
Well,
proposal for
what I'm
that.
saying to you is, it doesn't appear in here at all. And that's what I don't understand. Saying it's a recognised route that people are offered when they are, when presumably it's a police initiative, but then clearly it is being policed by somebody, right, if it's reported. So presumably, if you report your dog's bad behaviour, if a dog comes to your dog with bad behaviour or to you, and you report it to the police, and you can identify the person and the dog, then that's the way the police must go forward with it. So surely we can't have all these systems running at different times. That's the point I'm making, because prevention is far better than anything else.
We want to drive behaviour change,
Yes.
and that is through control.
That's
When
right.
people demonstrate they've got the measures and the means to control the dog. People go out there often without any idea or any interest in controlling the dog. So that's something we need to address. We can promote the alternative. We can promote the alternative.
Mike, you and I have discussed this as dog owners, and we have said that by instead of fining people, and it was Christmas before last we had the conversation, if you remember, instead of fining people, they need to have some sort of system in place. Well, I went away to find out if there was one, and I found out there was one. So it should have been incorporated in here. It should be part of our policy, because our policy isn't really, well, it shouldn't be, let's introduce PSPOs. Our policy should be how we are going to rid our streets of dog muck and make sure that owners are responsible for their dogs in other areas. That's what it's all about.
What it's all about is driving behaviour change, that people go out with more than enough bags at any time and an appropriate lead to put their dog under control. That's the behaviour change that people from Wirral want to see. And the PSPO will deliver that for us.
Right, and the next question is the evidence of that. Well, in your...
Sorry, there's evidence based, it's accessible, it was produced over...
Well, in here, the paperwork, there's no evidence from other areas of how it's helped, but other areas are mentioned. And that's the first thing I asked you. And it's a reasonable question. If you're quoting other areas, if you're quoting other areas, Mike, we've got to know the evidence that it's worked. Because they could have done it and it doesn't work. I know that you talk about North Wales, in Wepper Park, if anybody walks in Wepper Park, there's whole areas there that are dog-free. Everybody adheres to it. You don't have to have SPOs. It just says, dogs not there, dogs on leads there, and people abide by it.
Well, that's not the case on cemeteries at the moment.
But that's because we don't enforce it.
Well, it's presumably not enforced in Wales, is it? So, your second question was about why penalise the many for the few. You know, as a dog owner myself, there's nothing for us to worry about, is there? If we've got the right means to control our dogs, and we know about it, these measures are
right. Can you send us the evidence?
Evidence based. It says from a link in the report. It's too big to attach the report. There's a link in the report.
Well, I've tried the link in the report and it doesn't actually give you evidence that it's worked.
I asked similar questions and I read the evidence the report provided. It doesn't show that this PSPO would have any effect on that. And I also asked a question, what do you think is the best way to drive behaviour change? I'd like also to hear Rob's answer to that.
I might go first, or please go first. I might go first and tell us what the behaviour change is.
Well, Councillor Bird asked the question of you, Rob, so if you don't mind answering that, that'd be great. And then if Mike has anything he'd like to add, can you speak into the microphone, Rob, please? Thank you.
I will, thank you. Everybody sitting behind me dislikes the dog fouling more than non-dog owners. Because we get the finger pointed at us.
Yes.
We want the dog fouling off the streets, off the parks. We don't want to see the dangerous dogs. You've got the Dangerous Dogs Act that covers it already. There are ways of doing it. You've already, Christina has informed us all about we have got rules that will do it. It's the fact that they're not enforced. Bringing in a PSPO on the basis of, well, this will solve everything. It will change nothing. If you want to change behaviour, you have to enforce the rules. You have to make sure that people are. You have to educate the people. There are ways of, you want to be creative. Wirral spoke to Radio City today. Wirral is the insular peninsula. It has a benefit. You could bring bylaws in, you could bring in a bylaw that all dogs on the Wirral have to have a dog licence at a cost of X. Per life of the dog. If that happened, it would give you a revenue of £80 million if there's 80,000 dogs on the Wirral. More than enough, far in excess of what the PSPO will. So you've got then a revenue, and I'm getting agreement behind, and I haven't discussed it with them, I discussed it with Radio City today. If you then, that would also give you another one, because if you've got a dangerous dog, if I say to Christina, because she's got this dangerous dog, there's £100 fine, there's £100 fine. It doesn't change behaviour. You have to do something else. If somebody's not listening, just repeating yourself doesn't help. You have to find a way of explaining to them the way they understand you need to change your behaviour. And to do that, if you have a dog licence, they have to be chipped, they have to have a tag around the neck. If they also have a licence that ties all three together, you say, if you don't behave, you lose your licence, you can no longer have a dog. The irresponsible few would then get taken off the streets.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have two ex officio councillors here, Councillor Lewis and Councillor Rennie. Did you wish to speak, Councillor Lewis?
Please, yeah. Both ask some questions, very briefly.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just going to ask a couple of questions and observations. Clearly, we can't vote at this meeting because we are only attending as observers. But from what Mike has said and from reading the reports and from reading the emails from residents who've been in contact with us, I have to say as an observation, I feel that the PSPO is moving in one direction as society is moving in the other.
Yeah.
We've seen the government has announced that puppy farms are being banned, third-party breeders are being banned, sentences for animal cruelty have been extended, and there's going to be hopefully a review of breed-specific laws that ban entire breeds because they've been found not to work. At the same time, locally, Chair, as you will know in your ward, increasing number of venues are becoming dog-friendly.
Yeah.
So we have in your ward, Chair, for example, Merino Lounge at New Brighton, a tourist area, allows dogs into a restaurant. We have the Bow-Legged Beagle, a bar on Victoria Road, again, part of the tourist area that allows dogs in. At the same time, in Wallasey Village, the nearest pub to Harrison Park, the Lighthouse, now allows dogs into that pub. These places recognise the value of working with dog owners who are responsible. They don't want to penalise. If an irresponsible dog owner goes into those premises, they will be dealt with. But the vast majority of owners that go into those premises, presumably, are responsible dog owners. And yet we as a council are going in the opposite direction and saying that we don't want dog owners in certain parts of the borough, even though those dog owners are paying council tax to maintain those areas. Chair. Clearly, Mike, as an officer, the cabinet member may disagree with that observation, that's fine, I accept that. But what I think we have to look at, and this is the point that Councillor Bird and others have made, is the evidence that's being proposed tonight. In the presentation, Chair, reference was made to 69%, I think it was, 69% of people in Wallasey felt that dog fouling was a problem. Now, I would concur with that. As a councillor in Wallasey Ward, along with Councillor Rennie and Councillor Paul Hayes, we get frequent complaints from people about dog fouling. I have to say, I've never received a complaint from a resident about dog fouling in any of the locations that are listed here today. Not one. Now, that's not to say people don't have a problem, but you've referenced, yourself, Mike, you said there was a problem with underreporting. And part of the problem with the underreporting, Chair, is that when we as councillors use the council's CRM system to log a complaint, so we go online, as we're told to, because we're not allowed to ring up anymore or directly contact an officer because that wastes officer time apparently, we have to directly go through a CRM system where it's, the case is allocated to an appropriate officer. In every other issue that we raise as councillors, street lighting, broken pavements, whatever the issue is, we get a response. If we as councillors put in complaints about dog fouling, there's no response given. We don't even get an acknowledgement on that system. So, for example, a gentleman, when Leslie and I were canvassing Kingsway in Wallasey, which is a residential area, not near a park, but near a cemetery, a resident at Kingsway said to us, I have a problem with dog fouling on this road. So we put in a complaint as councillors via the system to say, we have a problem here with dog fouling, can we have some extra attention from the existing officers that we have? We never got a response. So I couldn't go back to that resident and say, thank you for reporting it, this is the action that's been taken. I had no idea, and that is why we might have a problem with underreporting, it's because we don't feed back to people. I'm not bothered if I get a response, but I want my residents to get a response. And if they're not getting a response when law-abiding residents are saying, we have a problem here, councillor, can you help us? No wonder there's a problem with underreporting.
Thank you, Councillor Lewis. Councillor Rennie.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for allowing both myself and my colleague Lewis to speak. Clearly we haven't got a vote, but I wanted to come here tonight, not only as a councillor, but as a responsible dog owner, because I think I'm not the only one that probably sees these proposals for what they are, and that is just Wirral Borough Council once again using local residents as a cash cow for this. Chair, I've got a real issue with this because I think the only thing that's needed to solve the problem that we're talking about is clearly what Rob has said, is educating people, but for Wirral Borough Council to get its act together. I can pinpoint playing fields near where I live, where you cannot take your dog on a field after there's been a football match because the grass has been cut, thank goodness, but you know, the grass has been cut by our teams of grass cutters. Nothing has been picked up. They've churned up the field, they've cut up bits of plastic, they've cut up tin cans, and it's a danger to animals and it's a danger to young children as well. But what really gets me in this, as Councillor Lewis has said, in our ward we have, like everybody else, numerous complaints from people about dog fouling, and it is, as other members have quite rightly said, it's not in the parks. We have a fantastic park in our ward, Harrison Park, and there are people here from Harrison Park tonight. People don't complain to us in huge numbers about dog fouling there because it doesn't happen, but it happens on the pavements. So if Wirral Borough Council can get their act together and just enforce the legislation which they have at their behest at the moment, do something about those problems, you wouldn't be getting these complaints from local residents. Why on earth, and I say why on earth, clearly the officer's here tonight to answer questions. He's been given the really dirty end of the stick because it should be a cabinet member, but clearly that's not the process of scrutiny, that's not the process of a call-in. The message that should go back from this committee tonight is to tell the cabinet member to forget it, basically. Stop using our residents to bring in income for this borough. There are certainly ways that we can curb dog fouling. There's certainly measures in through, people have said quite rightly that these and others have legislation at their hands, dangerous dog acts and the likes of it. But what really worries me in all this, and again other members, and I'm just repeating really mentioned, is the loneliness and isolation that this can cause. When the then cabinet member came along to meet a number of people in Harrison Park quite some months ago now, I think it was people were saying, I'm sure my residents won't mind me saying, there are predominantly a lot of older residents in our ward. One lady was actually crying on our shoulders, literally crying on our shoulders, saying it's the only time that she can come out, she can talk to people, and she has any social interaction. This council, it's perverse because we are trying to make sure that the health inequalities across one part of the borough equal the other, and everybody should have their well-being and a healthy lifestyle. This is a healthy lifestyle that people have, going out, socialising and meeting with people. This flies in the face of some of the pledges that Wirral Borough Council has in, as I say, in respect to that inequality amongst the health of one part of the borough to another. I just do not understand it. We have methods at our hands. We just need to carry on with enforcing what we have. This is draconian, and it just needs to go back to the cabinet member and tell her now to basically get her act together and drop these proposals right away. Just one final point, Chairman. Councillor Lewis mentioned it. I know where every dog-friendly place is, I would think, on Wirral, because where I can't take my dog, I don't go. And there are a number of places now, both in Wallasey and the wider part of Wirral, there are farm shops now which are having an area set aside. There's one in Cllr Farm, a fantastic place. Their business is booming and they are catering for everybody.